Here's a screencast for 6.1 for intermediate algebra. This is about operations on functions. So far we have added functions together, you subtracted them, you multiplied, you divided, all of these polynomial expressions. Well, the same operations can be formed on functions. So what this means is if I have two functions, f of x and g of x, I can add the 2x and the negative x plus 5 together. So I'm literally adding f of x, literally adding my f of x and my g of x together. So this is what we did on our last chapter 5 test. I mean, we had a plus in between them, we had a minus in between them. Similarly, if I wanted to add them together, like this is what it looks like. It's going to be like, oh, f minus g of x. Okay, well, what does that actually mean? So that means we're going to take our function that was f of x, 2x, and subtract my whole g of x function, subtract negative x plus 5. So this stuff isn't really going to be like new, just the way we talk about it, operations on functions, instead of just giving it to you to figure out. We actually have a name for it now. Same way we can multiply them together, so this is just what it looks like. I mean, here you would just distribute it out. We can also divide, so we know how to do this. I mean, you just write the top over the bottom, see if there's anything you can cross out or cancel. And then the last part, that's, I mean, anything new, is the bottom of the fraction cannot equal 0, meaning negative x plus 5 could not equal 0. To solve for x, I'm going to add it on both sides. So that tells me x cannot equal 5. There. So that tells me the restriction on the domain, meaning which x values cannot be part of my domain. Okay, so let's try this out. So I have f of x and I have g of x. Let's find each of the following. Alright, so first I want to do f plus g of x. What that means is I'm literally going to take f of x and I'm going to add it to my g of x. So rewrite your f of x, 3x squared plus 7x. And then I'm going to add it to my g of x, which is 2x squared minus x minus 1. Since I'm just adding, I can combine like terms. So let's see, I have an x squared here and an x squared. Add them together, I have 5x squared total. I have a 7x, I have a minus x. So 7x minus x is going to be plus 6x. And then I'm left with this lonely negative 1. There's no constant, no number over here on the left side to add. So this is my answer. Now we can try f minus g of x, meaning I'm going to take f of x and I'm going to subtract my g of x function. So far, not too bad. So let's list out. So I have 3x squared plus 7x, and I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to subtract my g of x function, which is 2x squared minus x minus 1. So something that might be easier is distribute the negative and then rewrite it all. Distribute the negative, and then we'll combine all like terms. So 3x squared plus 7x minus 2x, and then I have a negative times a negative, so that's a positive x. Negative times a negative, so that's a positive 1. Now I just have to combine like terms. So 3x minus 2x is just going to be x squared, 3x squared minus 2x squared. Plus 7x plus x, so it's going to be plus 8x. And then I have this plus 1. Awesome. So we can go ahead, we can try the multiplication and division. Are these my same functions? No, this is a little different. Okay, so I have a different f of x, a different g of x, two different functions. We're still fine. Okay, so I want to do f times g of x. All that means is I'm going to multiply my functions together. So I'm going to rewrite my f of x. So I'm going to take f of x, that function. So 3x squared minus 2x plus 1. And I'm going to multiply by my g of x, which is just x minus 4. So we haven't really multiplied out a trinomial by a binomial yet, but I feel like we can do it. You just have to distribute each of these So multiply those out. 3x squared times x is 3x to the third. Negative 2x times x is negative 2x squared. Plus 1 times x is just plus x. And go through. Now take the negative 4 and distribute it to each term. Negative 4 times 3x squared, well, that's going to be negative 12x squared. Negative 4 times negative 2x is going to be a positive 8x. And then negative 4 times negative 1 is just going to be negative 4. Cool. We just have to combine like terms and then we're grooving. So I only have one x to the third term, so I have 3x to the third. So that guy's gone. Let's see, negative 2x squared minus 12x squared is going to be negative 14x squared. Those are gone. Plus x plus 8x. Okay, combine those to have 9 plus 9x. Then I'm left with my negative 4. Awesome. So this is a little bit, step a little harder, but this is totally fine. We can do this. All right, now I'm going to take f over g of x. All that means is I'm going to take my f function, right, my f of x, and I'm going to divide by my g of x. So this is fine. This is stuff that we've done before. So I want to take my f of x, which is 3x squared minus 2x plus 1, and I'm going to put it over my g of x, which is x minus 4. So by looking at this, I don't think x minus 4 is going to be a factor. It doesn't seem like it's going to be a factor at all, right? Because this is funky. I have a 3 here, I have 1. Oh my gosh. There's no numbers, like the two numbers that multiply to negative 1 are 1 or negative 1, not 4. So this is it. I can't simplify this anymore. What I need to do is state the restriction on the domain, meaning this bottom part of my fraction cannot equal 0. So I take x minus 4 cannot equal 0. Add 4 on both sides. So I see x cannot equal 4. Because if x equals 4, that means the bottom of my fraction goes to 0, and I cannot do that. So this study guide just shows you more examples. All right, it shows you the addition, the subtraction, the multiplication, the division, and then we'll spend most of class going through this, and we might start the next section, but that's it. If you need more answers, I'll be posting the answers to the study guide online.